Hello everyone. Welcome. Welcome to SV Union High School and Junior College. Our subject today is Geography Standard 6th. We are going to discuss chapter number 5, Temperature. This is part 3, children. The last part we have seen what is diurnal range of temperature. We also saw that the difference in the mean temperature of summer and winter is called the annual range of temperature. And causes of ocean currents. What are the causes of formation of ocean currents? The different currents that we learned are cold currents and warm currents. And if we try to name them, they are Canarians and Peruvian current, which are cold currents. Equatorial and Brazil currents are the warm currents. We also saw in the regions where warm and cold currents converge are favorable for the growth of planktons. Planktons are food for fishes. Fishes travel here in a large number and they breed in the warm waters and increase the number of fishes. In this part of our video, we are going to learn the various methods that are used in geography to show the distributions on the map. And one of these are isolines. Due to this method, the characteristic distribution of a component stands out vividly. So let us see what are isolines and their different types. Isolines are lines drawn on a map to link different places that share a common value. They are drawn using the statistical information about natural factors of the characteristics. Let us see the various isolines used to show various distribution on regional or global level for different factors. First one is the contour lines. Contour lines are used for showing region with same heights. Isotherms are used for showing regions with same temperature. Isobars are used for showing regions with same pressure. And isohets are used for showing regions with same rainfall. We are going to see isotherms. Isotherms are lines drawn on the map to connect places with same temperature after avoiding the effects of height. They generally appear parallel to the latitudes on the world map. Isotherms of 25 degrees Celsius. The isotherms of 25 degrees Celsius appear like an ellipse on the map. And it has a greater north-south paired on the continents or land than the ocean. The 25 degrees Celsius isotherm line passes through some parts of South America, Asia, Africa and Australia. A little area of Pacific Ocean is covered by this isotherm. Isotherm of 0 degrees Celsius. There are two isotherms of 0 degrees Celsius on the world map. One of them lies in the southern hemisphere and the other one lies in the northern hemisphere. The 0 degree Celsius isotherm in the southern hemisphere is straight and parallel to the line of latitude for most of its part, whereas the 0 degree Celsius isotherm in the northern hemisphere has considerable deviations in north and south directions. In the west, in the parts of Pacific Ocean, it is fairly straight, but it moves in the north direction when it enters the continent of North America. Moving towards the east, it enters Atlantic Ocean and slightly turns in the northeastern direction. In this area of Atlantic Ocean, all isotherms lines move in the northeast direction due to the warm ocean currents lying in this area. When it enters in Eurasia, that is Europe and Asia, region further ahead in the east, this 0 degree Celsius isotherm turns a little to the southeast. And moving towards the east in the Pacific Ocean, most of the isotherms appear almost as straight line. Isotherms in the southern hemisphere. The isotherms are fairly parallel to the latitudinal lines in the southern hemisphere. The distance between these lines is almost equal starting from the South Pole to the Tropic of Capricorn. The land area in the southern hemisphere is lesser as compared to the ocean. Hence, the temperature in these parts are largely influenced by the latitudes. Isotherms in the northern hemisphere. In this area, the distance between the isotherms varies. Also, as the proportion of land in this hemisphere is greater, it affects the distribution of temperature. Hence, the distance between the isotherms varies and the isotherms are curved in nature. So, children, this is all about isotherms. Let us go to the next unit of this lesson, and that is the thermometer. Thermometers are used to measure the temperature of different materials. Different types of thermometers are used to measure the temperature of air. Let us understand the structure of a thermometer in short. A vacuum glass tube is filled with mercury or alcohol and it is mounted on a wooden board. There are two types of thermometer scales showing Celsius and Fahrenheit. Let us try to answer these questions about thermometer given in your textbook, which will help us to understand the thermometer clearly. First one, what is the tube of the thermometer fixed on? The tube of the thermometer is fixed on a mount. What substance is used in the thermometer tube? Mercury or alcohol is used in the thermometer tube. What do the figures on the scale indicate? The figures on the scale indicate temperature scale. In which different units is the temperature measured? The temperature shows Celsius and Fahrenheit. Now, mercury or alcohol is used in the thermometer. Why mercury is used in the thermometer and why alcohol is chosen for thermometer? Mercury has a freezing point of minus 39 degrees Celsius, while alcohol has a freezing point of minus 130 degrees Celsius. Both the materials are highly sensitive to temperature changes and hence are useful to show temperature variations from minus 30 degrees to plus 55 degrees Celsius. And the units of measuring temperature are degree Celsius and degree Fahrenheit. These are the units of measuring temperature. Now let us see why mercury is used in a thermometer in detail. Mercury is a shiny liquid metal with high coefficient of expansion. That means its boiling point and melting point and freezing point are very high. It is shiny and you can see it easily and see the level of mercury inside the glass thermometer. Imagine if using water or any other translucent liquid, what will happen? We will not be able to see it or it will not be visible through the transparent glass, and hence mercury, it becomes very easily visible through the glass of the thermometer. It is sensitive. That means a slight change in the temperature, it immediately shows the changes in the measuring scale. Heating, even on a small scale, causes significant expansion in its volume, which can be made clearly visible on the marked scale, and hence it becomes easy to measure any slightest change in the temperature. It's hard to boil. The boiling point of mercury is nearly 674.06 degrees Fahrenheit. So, using it in the college laboratory or hospitals really does not convert the mercury into vapors. It is non-sticky. It does not stick to any surface. And hence, because of this property of mercury to not stick on glass is the main reason to use it. Unlike water, droplets of mercury never stick on the glass walls of the thermometer. So these are some of the important reasons why mercury is used in the thermometer. Yes, children, I hope you have understood all the three parts of this lesson. I expect you to go through this lesson, that is your textbook lesson, thoroughly. Thank you and take good care of yourself.